Okay, we're recording now. Okay, what we've just started, I know Susan, and yeah, Susan has seen this. She came in under the new tier system that we've got. And what I've done is I put the first tier as free. Everybody's included as free. And then the second tier is going to be a paid tier. I know we discussed letting other people in on the paid tiers. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but right now it's set up to where if it's a paid tier, you go up to that paid tier, and you have to pay the amount that it's there. They may change that, but right now it's still paid. Okay, so now this tier, the one that everybody's on right now, is free. Next tier is going to be $19. The third tier is $197 a month, and that is where I work directly with people, and I get their system actually going, again, it's not for everybody. And if you go on and do like a class on, you can do the classes on the second tier and just sign up for a month on that tier or whatever, however long it takes you to do that course. And then you can go back to free if you want. That's kind of the way it looks like right now. It's school system, so I'm trying to figure out how to work it best for everybody that's involved. Okay. So that's our tier system. Today, one of our main goals right now is to get 1,000 members on the community. And past couple of days, we've been doing really well as far as people coming in and joining the community. Also, on this community, I want to I'm a lost what I was thinking about. It wasn't on my list. But anyway, another thing I want to do is I want to start in this community and the free level, having, I don't know if you noticed on the top, there's categories where there's categories up there where I'm going to set up categories for people who are vetted, who want to do editing or what do they call it? Beta reading or whatever, for free. Okay. And, or for pay, whatever. But it'll be people that actually want to do it and have been pre-approved by, me and my, basically me at this point. But, it's, I have two people that are supposed to be helping me that aren't. So, and that's okay. I if I don't have people that are doing the work, then, but anyway, you can also, as far as, you can bring all your friends on, all your writing friends on, and we can do more of this. Now, what we're going to get to right now is this is going to be the last community that we're going to do through the month of November. What I'm going to do in November, I'm going to have classes specifically every day, which is why I don't want to do this every day, but classes every day on different aspects of writing like a novel for the whole month of November. I know Jan doesn't want to do it, and I know John's not into it. Timo's might be into it. I don't know about Susan, but that's okay. Part of what I'm going to do is I'm setting it up to where we can set it up to where I can make this a course after this whole month is done. So we can do we can do it that way. Okay, so so now we're going to talk. I'm going to talk about the goal of November is to each person write their the first draft of a book. Anybody that wants to, and you don't have to do this. The information that I share each day is going to be valuable, kind of like what I've been doing, but it's going to be specifically on first draft writing for the next month. So, you can read it over and you agree with it, disagree with it. It doesn't matter. Or I'm also going to be doing, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, anyway. So my novel for the next month, is, it's titled, The War for the Rose of Dobbin's Landing. And anyway, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but that's the name of my book. And that's, I'm going to be demonstrating some of what I'm doing and maybe show some of my aspects. Let me see. What else? Okay. One of the things I like to do when I do this is open up 3 different documents to make it easier for me to keep track of what I'm writing. Unlike NaNoWriMo, I tend to be, I don't tend to be a pantser. I tend to be a planner. So, but each day is kind of like a pantser kind of deal. So I'm kind of a planner, planter, I guess they call it, right? Um, um, so I'm going to be doing 3 documents. One document's the actual book itself, and another document is the character Bible, so I know exactly what each character is, and I can go back, revert to that when I've got dealing with this character. Each character is going to have their own description, their own history, and the character arc in this story. So I know what happens to them throughout the story, how they change, Another thing, the other one is going to be the world building. I know in a lot of cases, our world is, well, it's all fictional, but even if we're not doing fantasy or whatever, we're still creating our character's world. So we want to, set up set it kind of like it's just for setting up the scenes and whatever. For my book, for the book, document, of course, it's where the actual book is going to be written. So in that book, I do this. I was telling Timo about this. I use Microsoft Word to do my to do my drafts, to write my books in. Excuse me. Okay, so what I do is I start with before the first chapter, and then I do 30 chapters after day. So each day basically is a chapter, but I don't necessarily write in order. Sometimes I'll write the first chapter after I've written the last chapter. I mean, it's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird that way, but I don't necessarily write in order. I write in order of what I know, So in writing in Microsoft, Timo, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, got a question. We were talking about using, I was talking to you about that I would describe how to create the setup for the book on Microsoft Word. Okay, do you know how to find the navigation pane on Microsoft Word?
I don't believe I've used that tool, no.
Okay,
But it should
anyway,
be
you
easy
go to
enough.
the top. You go to the top of the Microsoft Word, and you'll see up there that there's a tab called View. Click on that, and then you'll find under under Show at the bottom, at the top of on that, you'll find Show, and then in that Show tab, you'll find. John, you're on there twice.
Right, it's
You
2
called
Johns.
yourself.
How'd you do that?
How did you do that?
We've got 2
Leave it
twins.
to me to mess it up. Yep.
two twins, artists. There you
Well,
go.
that's good. Anyway,
That's hilarious.
so how do you start everybody? Okay, that's right, writers. How do you usually start your books? How do you get started when you start in a book? How do you usually start in your books? When
Well, for
you
me, the very first thing is to set up the formatting, which I set up according to traditional publishing standards. The margins, the line spacing, set it to automatically indent on the first line and that sort of thing. That's the very first thing I do. And then I save it before I write a word and save it as my document. And then I just start chapter 1 or prologue or whatever.
do you start at the very beginning or do you start with
I do. I'm a very linear thinker.
uh,
And I start at the beginning, and I am a pantser. I don't outline. I've done semi outlines on probably every book. So I guess I'm a plantser because I know where the story's going. I just don't always know how it's going to get there. But that's the first thing I do. I set the document up, get it ready with the line spacing, the formatting, and all of that. And then I just start writing.
do you keep track of your characters in any way or
Yes, I do. I usually have an Excel spreadsheet that I do the characters on, and I even go as far as giving them a birthday and looking at their astrological signs and that sort of thing. So I go into a lot of detail about my characters. I definitely do that before I write anything. I have to know who they are. I have to know what they're about. And sometimes I don't even know their name. Like one of the books that I wrote, I did not know the character's name at all. Every name I came up with, I knew was wrong. I just could feel it was not right. And so I was talking with my sister, who is also an author, and she said, "Well, why don't you interview him and ask him what his name is?" Well, it sounds kind of crazy, but these things go on in your head, and it's real. But I wound up not interviewing him. I was taking a shower, and his mother started telling me the story about him and his name. And so not only did I get his name, but I got a short story out of that. So I don't know,
the
you got
moms
to
will
be a
tell
little
you
bit
a lot. Moms will tell you a lot. Yeah, I like to interview my characters. I like to get
and
because
it's kind of a little crazy, but it works.
it separates you from them. They become somebody else. They,
And the more you learn about them, then the deeper you can develop them. And I like to have multidimensional characters and to know that they're going to grow into something different. That's what it's all about.
How about you, Timo?
Well,
How do you
I'm
start your book?
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty similar, but what I usually do is I always start off with like my synopsis. So what I plan or envision the book to be and what characters that I like to implement. So I usually don't move ahead of each character. So I take one character at a time and try to imagine what the setting would be and where I wanted to originate. I'll go from there, and I usually put all this in my OneNote, my OneNote option to take the notes,
Mhm.
and then from there, once I'm ready to start writing the story, I generally just uh, pick a good starting point where I think would will capture the reader's attention. Like maybe if I want to start it off suspenseful or with action, it's something like that. And
Mhm.
um, I typically do that, and then once I start going into the story more and more, I I actually might take a break from that story in particular, just not nothing lengthy, of course, and just let my mind roam, and then wonder, or figure out the best way to actually go about with the story, and then I come back to it, and then sometimes a few pages flow. Sometimes it's just only a few sentences, but
That's
I
true.
just get,
Yep.
I just
Yeah,
I
that's
just try to get the momentum going. Oh, that was it. That was it.
Well,
How about
both
you,
both
Susan?
you and Jan are fiction writers, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I started out my writing career with a true story. But during the telling of that true story, which took 4 books to finish, I got inspiration for novels and short stories and just kept going. Haven't stopped.
Nice.
Susan
How
is
about you, Susan? What have you written?
Susan is nonfiction, correct, Susan?
Yeah, so far was actually an apocalyptic for homeschoolers, and it's more with teaching some general ethics and principles, but it's all based around 82 years later, and I'm trying to pull the pieces together. So you got questions about what went on beyond the river, right? And you have questions about what we're doing today, but kind of trying to blend the two so they can see where it was, but what we have to do with our minimalist kind of living structure. But it's still bringing in community and diversity and Native American, use Cherokee stories in there for around the campfire. And so it should be interesting for young adults. And I'm just finishing up a second one under its last comma and editing before it goes into formatting. And it's on St. Augustine and St. Jerome. And so kind of church history is, but never knew the two men were connected, but they were miles apart. They never met, but they still had dialogue. It was interesting, and it's set in a Greek cafe with a couple of characters and lots of Greek coffee and dolmas. So it's a fun way of presenting history. So those are my 2 so far, but it's pretty much based on what I've taught, so a little different than,
So you teach?
yeah, yeah, still do, part-time.
So John, I know you don't write. You're the
Not a word.
except for
I can barely,
on our what do you call it? On
And the
our
bubbles.
Or
discussions,
chat
daily
board, yeah.
discussions.
Yeah. I just put my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
glad
You
you should,
seem to be
everything he draws is fantastic.
he seems to
He's,
be quite connected though with authors, you know.
I try
He
to
always
learn all about you people.
Yeah.
I think it really helps me.
uh,
So
uh,
the
to
crazy
understand
group,
how
right?
you guys think.
yeah. Well, he hangs out at all the meetings, and now he knows how we think and all the stuff we have to go
Well,
through.
it's a start. Yeah, it's a start.
Right.
Every person has a different approach. So
Yeah, we do,
yeah,
don't we?
it just helps me understand so I can work with you guys, basically.
Right.
So
And that's really the thing too, is you have to figure out what works for you. I mean, like I'm very different from Jan in our styles of working. She works linearly. I'm just all over the place when it comes to writing.
Mhm.
and Timo, you work from movies sometimes, don't you? The movies inspire you, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've even written a couple of scripts that are movie based,
Mhm.
and so it's
Yes.
just
Everybody is different. Everybody has a
yeah.
different approach to things.
Right.
And
But you learn from everybody, you
you
know.
do. Yes, you
Mhm.
You
do.
do, and interesting because the very first creative writing class I took was screenwriting because
Ah,
I thought I was going to write a movie, and then I realized 15 minutes into the first class that the story I had was way too big for a movie.
Yeah.
oh, I
but
see.
but so many of the principles are exactly the same across the board in that the show don't tell, the get the emotion in there, it's all that
Mhm.
is all the same. The only thing different was the way you set it up.
The
Instead of
format.
word, I worked in final draft. So yeah,
Yeah.
but so much the same, and the same with songwriting. It's all storytelling.
This is so true.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
songs that tell the story, the ballads, you know. I love
Me
those.
too. Me too. I think I put a comment on our channel the other day about that. I've always wanted to write Copperhead Road, the whole generational thing. I think that'd be so much fun, but I haven't ever done it. But I have definitely written. In fact, my the first book in this last series I wrote was inspired from one line in a song. I was driving and had the radio on, and the line was, "It's fool's gold and a beggar's bargain." And I pulled over to the side of the road, and I always have a pad, and I wrote down "beggar's bargain." I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that had to be something.
Is it a
Yeah,
title?
that's a nice
It's the
title.
title of the first book of that series. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah,
Inspiration
yeah,
can come from anywhere. I mean, it can just
yeah.
hit you
You
out of
just
the
took the
blue.
words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, you got to keep something handy, either your phone or something to keep track, because if you don't, it might slip away.
Right.
That
That's like
part.
last night I had a dream, and I don't think it's going to be a book. I don't know. I have any idea. But 3 different times lions came to my door. Each one was a different lion, came to my door in my dream, and I was like, where did that come from? Lions at my door. So I had to look it up. What does lions at my door mean? Because, and it had to do with courage, strength,
Yeah,
and protection.
yeah,
So I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I didn't
Yeah,
know that, but
yeah.
it's
That's
like
yeah,
something
just a
was telling
little
me
comfort.
something from somewhere. So I
yeah,
mean, it's like Timo was saying last week. You get it from your it comes from somewhere. Like it just sometimes it just comes to you.
That's
yeah.
always
That's
been a
just
mystery.
God-given
Where
gifts.
does it come from?
So you had a
Yeah,
lion, you had a lion come to your door and talk to you. Is that it?
no, it just came to my door. It was just outside my door, and
They said
there's
they want to eat you.
3 different times, 3 different lions. They were different. Each one was a little different.
Mm.
But I don't know. It might be written into something someday, or may not. It may just be for my own entertainment. I don't know.
It
You
could
just
Or
be
for
for
my
reminded,
own
Boston Simba
encouragement.
and Nala.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, it looks like our time is up. I know we all got started late, but it's okay. Anybody want to say anything else before we head out?
well, the only thing is, you've got Kelly that wants to come in yet. I just thought of someone else that I'm going to send a link to. He's also an illustrator, and the lion thing brought me to mind on that. So I'm going to
Oh,
send him a link. But the thing is, this next coming month, you're not going to be doing any videos. You're not going to be doing any Thursday night
right.
videos.
My
So
I will be doing a video like every day, but it'll be on the discussion.
right. But it won't be a
It,
meeting like this
right,
until December, right? Okay.
right,
I'll
right.
mention that to him. And, because these kind of get togethers are nice. You get to
Yeah,
meet
Yeah, I actually
people and
like
the
this.
authors,
It's
and,
pretty cool.
yeah. I
and
don't
yeah,
know that I
you
wanted.
get to
Okay, since we're all here before I'll just shut off the recording.